Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor. Now it's time for your weekend tech tip, brought to you by Chevy Silverado.
Welcome back, everyone. We got a question about what is a second when you're talking about this warehouse sale that's going to be happening. Not the best way to put it. December 6th through the 8th. We're going to answer that question in just a second, but we got a question from Alan from Kaiser. He's got a question for Dominic. Alan, what's your question for everyone?
The question is on sharpening knives. I know there's a couple standard angles, 20 degrees and 25 degrees. Mm-hmm. I was wondering why the two different, angles and or when to use each one.
That's a great question. I know that you can't hear the question. His question was, there's always two different angles when you're talking about sharpening, either 20 or 25 degree. Mm-hmm. Is there a reason why there's two different levels, if you know? I mean,
yeah, the reason that there are different angles on a blade, a steeper angle will be able to be super sharp, mm-hmm. but it'll dull faster.
Okay.
Because there's less material there.
All right.
So you have different angles for different applications of knives, mm-hmm. Depending on what they're going to be used for, to hold an edge for as long as possible.
Okay, so just a little bit different of an angle will survive a little bit longer after it's being used.
Yes.
Different types of blades are going to require a little bit different of an angle and what they're going to be used for. So Alan, you got both your answers or questions answered there. That is interesting. Using a work sharp, which is my favorite way of sharpening knives. Local company too, by the way, everyone. Great company, great products that they make. They offer on that work sharp. I mean, you've got 10 different versions of angles that you can use. Let's just say this, you're a big game hunter, you've cleaned plenty of deer and elk, skinning them, gutting everything. Is there an angle that you go for there or would recommend for a knife in that situation?
I don't sharpen my own knives because I work at the factory.
Good point.
So I don't have a favorite angle that I sharpen to, no.
Okay, fair enough, because it does give you those angles, and that was, again, another question for myself, because I just look at it and I don't know, and it works. In the end, I get it. All right, so let's talk to Paul. Paul's from St. Helens. I've never been out that way. No, I'm kidding. Wants to know if they still do a military or first responder line for the sale.
We used to do a military first responder line. We discontinued that line because it became as long, or if not longer, than the standard line.
Oh, okay.
And so we do have a separate entrance for anybody with mobility issues, mm-hmm. But to clear up some congestion and things like that, we did eliminate the first responder line.
Okay, that answers your question, Paul. Thanks for calling in and asking that. We appreciate that. We got Max from King City. So Max, be patient with me for a second here. The other question was, what is, when you're talking about this sale, mm-hmm. and it's the seconds that are made, the U.S. brand, that are made right here in Tualatin, what would somebody see when they come in, let's just say the Leak or even the Live Wire, what would be considered a quote-unquote blem or a second?
Something cosmetic. Okay. So nothing functionally. So, all the knives are going to function properly, whether it be an automatic or an assisted or a manual. What happens on a second, though, is, for example, you can see the Kershaw logo here. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that might accidentally be double lasered, so the logo looks funky.
Okay.
Or there could be a scratch in the handle. Just basically anything that when they're going through the QC line, mm-hmm. cosmetically they see, okay, that's not first quality, we got to put that aside.
Interesting. And I would assume out of the tens of thousands of knives that they make there throughout the year, and that might even be light on what they make, I would assume that's really light. It probably happens enough where it justifies having a reason to have the sale so that you can get them out of there.
Yeah, we produce hundreds of thousands of knives every year.
Okay, yeah, so I was way off. So like I said, some of the machinery was just incredible. I mean, they were pumping out high-end $300 blades. It was amazing. Hopefully you get it. Do you ever do any warehouse tours that people can go look, or do you guys try to keep that all kind of quiet on how you have your own process?
We do occasionally offer tours, especially to vendors and things like that, or dealers. Mm-hmm. We don't have tours that are just open to the general public, though.
Okay. If you ever got that opportunity, it's worth looking into. It's pretty cool. All right, let's talk to Max. Max is from King City, and he's got a question about times of the sale. Max, what's your question for everyone?
When do the doors open and when do the doors close?
When do the doors open and when do they close? The 6th, the 7th, and the 8th.
So it's a great question. I should know the answer to that, Max. I apologize that I don't. But you can go on our website, KershawKnives.com or to our Facebook page, and you can check out the event. There's FAQs on there that'll tell you when the doors open, when they close, and when you can shop till after the doors close.
And I bet you, Max, before we're done here, I can have Ryan pop up and look what I said. Look at that. That's why he's the best in the business, everyone. December 6th to the 8th. It's Friday through Saturday, or Friday, Saturday. It is 9 to 5, and it looks like Sunday is 9 to 2. So it is a little bit earlier on Sunday that they will be closing it down, but 9 to 5 Friday and Saturday, and Sunday 9 to 2. Pretty cool. Good questions, everyone. Thank you for that, certainly, because there are going to be a lot of folks there, and I think that that's one of the things I would make sure that everyone is well aware of, that, you know, you're going to get there. There's going to be a little bit of a line. But I would take advantage. I'm going to go back to what I would be looking for. I'd be looking for high-end, USA-made pocket knives, whatever it might be. I would highly recommend, again, my own personal recommendation, if it's legal for you, the out the front live wire. It's by far my favorite out the front that I've ever owned. I can say that confidently, and not because he's just a sponsor. It's an amazing out the front knife. Once you have one, you'll go, I'll never go back to a traditional knife. There's a number of reasons for that, and you'll learn that in a hurry. Also, the kitchen knives. We spend a lot of time on the water, in the woods, chasing perfect meat, okay? If it's fish, if it's deer, if it's elk, whatever it is, perfect meat. You had to take care of it. And when you got the best products to do that, it just makes that whole thing much better, right? We all know how emotional it is when you're cooking what it is that we chase. When you have good gear, like the Kai line, the Shun line, when you're talking about your kitchen knives, it's well worth it. And if you can take a ton of money off, up to 70%, depending on what it is, it's worth all that. It just kind of makes you feel good. But there's another sale that we don't want to forget about, because I try to get it all out there when we can. There's a Black Friday sale coming up.
Yeah, if for some reason you can't make the warehouse sale or you're not local, we are offering a Black Friday through Cyber Monday deal on the website. It's all first quality products, so there's no second quality USA products or anything like that. So the deal
it's just a regular sale.
Regular sale.
Okay.
It'll be 35% off MSRP across the board. You can take advantage of that if you can't make it.
So that's another great reminder. So Black Friday sale, is that online only?
Online only.
Online only. So don't go to the factory and go, hey, I saw on GPS we're supposed to get it. No, go online. But I want to kind of back up to when he mentioned about the seconds and the blems. Anything that it seems like that you're going to find on these things when you take advantage of that deal is something that you're going to do to the knife, and most likely the second or third or fourth day that you've owned it. So just because it's got a scratch or two on there, who cares? I mean, it's going to be on there. I mean, my live wire, the day after I brought it home, I dropped it, and I've got scratches on the side. Okay? They're spendy knives, and if you can save yourself $100, roughly, my math is good. I almost put this in my pocket.
It's a tool. If you use it, it's going to show some
It's going to absolutely show, and that's where I really like the character anyway, when all that comes into play. All right, we're going to cut to a break, but hey, thanks for coming in and seeing us, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. I hope not to see you in the woods. I hope to see you on your private property someday. I never get an invite, but we do hunt some of the same land every so often. Everyone, again, thanks for Dominic coming in from Kershaw. We'll be back to wrap things up and give you an idea what we got going on this upcoming weekend, and it is another very busy weekend, even in the first week of December. We'll be right back.